What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Crypto Live. Guess what, guys? It's Friday, and I got a couple announcements today. We have multiple things going on the show. The first one is, of course, some of you guys followed on Twitter. Jebb is again sick. He had a massive fever yesterday, and so prayers for Jebb and his family as he rests, because now his wife has him and another one to take care of. So that's going to be fun for her. We're praying for Sarah, but that does not stop the show from going on. And guess what we are starting today? New tradition. Fridays will be called Positive Fridays. Why? Because right now the whole crypto space, the entire world really, is just really, it's weighed down with a whole heck of a lot of negativity. You don't got to go very far to see people going at each other's throats, when in reality what we should be doing right now is coming behind and working together each other and working to be positive and let people know about the future and what we can accomplish with cryptocurrency. So, with that being said, I want everyone on our set today. We're going to be talking positive. Doesn't mean we're going to ignore negative things, but we're going to be positive today. We're going to have a guest on today, Crypto Birb, and we're going to talk a lot about the signs that you should be looking for to see a bottom of the bear market and then move into a bull market. That is something to be positive about. So with that being said, I do want to first bring on Smay, our technical director. Smay, how are you doing this morning? And tell us something positive that you're feeling today on Friday.
I'm doing good, guys, and I feel great.
Yes, positive. Thumbs up from Smay. I'm also joined by T-Shroom sitting at Jebb's desk. How are you doing this morning, T-Shroom?
Better than I deserve,
Yes.
Tim.
Tell me something positive, T-Shroom.
Something positive? Well,
yeah.
We've got the big 4th of July coming up this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We do. And I want to hear from every one of you guys in chat right now. Spam chat. I want to see that chat full of nothing but positivity as we jump into the last show of this week. Before a 3-day weekend, we will not be here Monday. So that's kind of negative, but we're spinning it positive. Everyone's going to get some nice rest, and we will be back on Tuesday. But I am going to finish up this opening segment with some positivity. Guess what today is, guys? It's July 1st, which means it's the first show of the month, which means that we are going to have today every single super chat, every single dollar that you guys give in super chats will not be going to us. They'll be going with our ministry partner, Life for the Innocent. If you don't know anything about Life for the Innocent, I think, Smay, is there a link in the description?
I'm working on it.
We'll put one.
So our YouTube information just glitched out, so I'm fixing it real quick.
Nice. Well, either way, we're going to have that description down below. If you want to learn more about them, they go into very rough places to help save children from sex trafficking. So literally every dollar you guys get today is going to go straight to them. Last month, we raised over $200. I think we can beat it today. I think we could hit closer to 300, maybe even 400. What do you guys think?
I think so,
Is that
yeah.
doable?
I think it's very doable.
Yeah. But
Let's
with that being said, before I jump into the information, because there is still some breaking news here, we do have a word from one of the sponsors of our channel. And again, we're so grateful for any company that comes in and sponsors us, keeps the lights on. They keep us going every single day. They keep us coming and giving you guys all the information. And today, we are brought to you by Token Metrics. But Token Metrics is really cool. I've talked about this a little bit before. You can go to my screen here in just a second when I pull it up. Token Metrics is a really cool tool that kind of just adds another tool to your toolbox on how you trade. There's lots of different things they talk about in here, but ultimately they even give you advice on how your portfolio really should look at the moment with the coins that are the best to trade. So there's lots of different things you can see. This is the indices here on their site, but you can also go throughout their site and look at different things, and they're taking into account information coming from social media, coming from Twitter, coming from Instagram, coming from all these different places, letting you know the positivity of the coin in the community. They're also analyzing data on technical analysis. For anyone who's not yet really familiar with technical analysis, they kind of help you kind of get in a place of understanding, is this stuff good? Is this stuff bad? And they give you a good idea of when you should be purchasing, when you should be selling. And what's really cool about Token Metrics is right now there's a promotion running from yesterday until, let's see, 7 days from now, July 7th, 30% off every plan that you purchase, both monthly and annual, but you got to use the coupon code CHILL30. That coupon code is CHILL30. Get 30% off right now. Link in the description down below. If you are looking for a way to add, especially fundamental analysis, to your toolbox to trade it really, really well, you're not going to miss out on Token Metrics. Go, just click on it. Just go give them a look. Explore the site. It's really cool. But you can go and go off my screen here. Smay, I'm going to slow down for just a second. You're going to take some breath.
Yeah, you can slow down while I read green names.
That's exactly what I was about to send it to you for.
Sorry, guys. I had to fix the title and description. Apparently, YouTube decided, hey, we're going to throw it all away. So then it used yesterday's, and I got to put it back. I had to put the new one back in.
Well, that's not
so
what you want.
I was a little bit scrambling there. But now, It's Positive Friday, guys. We get to be positive, and I'm very positive right now. So I'm going to go ahead and read some green names here. We got Elliot Locke, Mitch Shaw, Agent Gold, Why You Loud, Sultan of Salt. Who else we got here? We got CryptoSec Guy. We got Kelly Kellum. We got, who else we got here? We got Shannon Sharp. We got Win Peoples, Adam Lopez, Grand Roofing Incorporated, Jeremy Shorter, Crypto JMP, Stoney McGuire. Oh my gosh, all of you guys are so awesome. I love all of you guys. You guys are the best. Back to you, Tim.
Boom. And to kick off even more so with this Positive Friday, you know what? One of the most positive things you guys can do is click that like button. And if you're new here, welcome so much to this channel. We love you guys. Consider hitting subscribe and hitting that bell notification so you don't miss a single thing. Sometimes I think YouTube is a little fishy with crypto channels, and I don't want to confirm or deny because this is Positive Fridays, but sometimes it gets a little hard. So anytime you guys make it easier for us, hitting those likes, hitting subscribe, hitting that bell, that's just another way to make sure crypto YouTube channels are seen more often. And not just ours, but others as well. I encourage you to do so. But let's go ahead and kick off our market pulse. Going over to CoinMarketCap, it was an interesting day. Obviously, yesterday the charts, those of you who are following, it was a little interesting. We had a dip, and then we had a nice little rally, and now we're dipping again. But overall, it looks like in the last 24 hours, the majority of the top coins are in the green. You're seeing Bitcoin close to 3% up, Ethereum almost 5% up. I'm scrolling here. We also had Solana 5% up. Those, look like the bigger movers of the last. Oh, Polygon right here, 8 up. You know, Polygon's been a good one recently. We've done some videos on Polygon. There's a lot of stuff happening there, so that's really cool. Let's see what our biggest gainers, biggest losers are the last 24 hours. AMP is our biggest gainer, 21% up. I don't know if I've ever heard of Arweave. T-Shirt, have you ever heard of Arweave up 16% on the day?
I've never heard of Arweave, no.
No, that's not. Waves will make its case. Waves is one of those coins that will... I feel like anyone who's trading Waves, if they can track what's going on, is probably making some good money because it seems like Waves is always either in the top gainers or the top losers. Speaking of the top losers, let's look at what the biggest ones are. We got Terra Classic USD. Don't know why people are going there anyway. I think Terra Luna, anything with Terra and Luna in it, probably is a little avoidable here for the next little bit, but it's down 11%. Other than that one, though, there's not that much negative, so that's always good. Positive Fridays. We really don't have that much negativity in the market within the last 24 hours. Okay, that's one reason here, right here. The only coin that's down significantly is also up 176% in the last 7 days. That's a reason still to be positive about the market. But there was also some stories that broke here over the last 24 hours, and we're going to keep it positive here moving in to the first story, and that is that we had a Deutsche Bank analyst see Bitcoin recovering to 28,000 by December. Now, I'm going to pause right there. It's not that significant. 28,000 by December. I think people have their hopes a little higher than that, but it's up at positivity. T-Shirt, what do you think about this prediction made in December of 2022?
I think it's safe. I think it's a good safe prediction. I think by December we should be seeing a turnaround in the markets. So yeah, I think Deutsche Bank's getting it right here.
Well, this next one, and I might throw even to you for more information on it, but we have, am I saying this right? Van Eck refiles? How do you say that name?
Yeah, Van Eyck.
Van Eyck. Oh, the good pronunciation there. Van Eyck refiles with the SEC for a spot Bitcoin ETF. This, of course, is coming on the heels of the news that we had Grayscale's denied here. Was it 2 days ago? 3 days? Was it yesterday? 2 days ago? Yesterday, it was denied, and there's a lawsuit happening. T-Shroom, is there any more information happening with this refile for the SEC? And is there any hope that this one might pass, whereas Grayscale's didn't?
I don't believe so. I think they're just casting their net and just seeing how it goes. I think they're kind of putting their name in the hat there just in case something happens, something changes at the SEC, and they are a little more inclined to go ahead and pass a spot ETF. But as of now, we have no indication that this will get passed.
Well, positivity. We got more than one spot ETFs. Gonna put some pressure on the SEC. Hopefully, one, if not all of them, end up coming through here soon. Let's keep moving on, though. Another piece of positive news. Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, he just posted on Twitter, bought today 80 Bitcoins. That's at $19,000 per coin. So El Salvador and Bukele continue to buy the dip. That's always nice to see that people are still in the space. They're willing to buy at these levels. Is 19,000 the bottom? No, probably not. but it is a place that a lot of people could find some money. And we're going to kind of transition in this next story into our technical analysis, but also on Twitter, a guy that I'm really, really, really excited to follow, love following everything he does. Gareth Soloway this morning, I looked at his Twitter. He said, Bitcoin pump into the daily close equals the power of charts as price gets back above the 2017. A mega player didn't want to close below. Amazing to watch and learn the levels and watch magic happen around the levels. I thought that was really interesting because I didn't even notice that. But if you guys were to go over to your charts and go to the monthly chart, those of you who have TradingView, if you don't have TradingView, by the way, there's a link in the description down below. You're going to want to have it if you're doing technical analysis. But I thought this was really interesting because when you pull it over here on the monthly chart, sure enough, we have a new candle. We're already red for the month of July, but hopefully that changes. But we closed right here at 20,000, above 20,000. Last ditch effort to stay above that wick we had back in 2017. And I think this is really interesting. What Gareth is kind of getting at is potentially were there market players that were watching that, seeing we were healthily below that level. Because in case you guys weren't watching, there was kind of a crazy, let me go learn this new thing here, auto, there we go. We were way down low. We were down low bad as we were coming not only into the daily close, but also into the monthly close. And in the span of 2 hours right before the close, we jumped all the way as high. We had a wick go as high as, which I got to get up here, $20,800. Who is doing this? And before I jump into TA, T-Shrim, do you have any thoughts about why we jumped so dramatically before falling again within the next couple of hours? Do you think it's as simple as some market player just wanted us to get above that monthly close, so we didn't have a monthly close below previous all-time high, or is it just a coincidence?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of different ways that this could have gone on. I mean, there could have been someone who just always buys at the end of the month, you know, or at the beginning of every month. And by someone, I mean a whale. Obviously, this was whale action. But I think more than likely, this was somebody, you know, wanting to make sure that an indicator doesn't get above a certain threshold or below a certain threshold. And, you know, this is classic bullish market manipulation to try and keep something from going below a support level. So it could have been that Nayib Bukele, the El Salvador buy. I don't know if that was big enough to do that, but you know, somebody definitely doesn't want it to go past that level, at least for right now.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something we definitely got to keep our eyes on. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of July. Will we again see, because we don't know if the price is going to go all the way down to 15,000. Are we going to stay above that 17,000, I think 500 of the bottom wick that we had here of the last month? But we'll see how we close out in July. Make sure to stay tuned at the end of the month to see where our prices are looking. But let's go ahead and jump in and do some TA. And again, we're going to keep it positive. Not meaning we're going to avoid anything that might be calling us down to the downside, but there is still so much reason. If people just decide, hey, man, we're going to evaluate this, not just short term, not just what's going to happen over the next hour, 2 hours, 2 days, long term, what are we seeing on the charts, and is there any reason to be positive? And actually, the answer is yes. And I want to start on the weekly chart, and I'm going to pull up my T sequential, my Bollinger Bands, and my RSI, and show you some signs for positivity when we're looking on the weekly chart. We've talked about this in other shows, but some people forget this, and I want to remind you guys there is still reasons to be positive about Bitcoin over the next few months and years, and this is not a dying space. So first of all, on the TD sequential, we flashed 9 here a couple of weeks ago. We've actually now almost a month past that 9 flash. And this happens on TD sequential. Those of you who have learned technical analysis or are learning it currently, just because we get a 9 flash, whether it be a red 9 signaling we're going to reverse to the upside, or whether it be a green 9 signaling that we're going to go to the downside, it's not a dead sign that you have to immediately upon that candle switch. What this metric is telling you is, hey, the market is overextended in one direction. In this case, it's to the downside. And a reversal should be coming soon on this chart. Of course, weekly charts, they don't flip necessarily within the next couple hours and days. Sometimes it might even take a month or two for the signals to flash and to make their moves. But we are still overextended. And I want to watch this week and the next week. I want to watch to see if you guys can, if I zoom in here, you guys will see that that candle is a different color. It's not green, it's not red, it's a different color. It's like a neon green. And that is a flashing trend reversing candle. And I want to see what happens when we get overextended with TD sequential is sometimes it changes and it stays different colors, and then you'll see another flash later, and that's the signal that it's time to reverse. But staying on the weekly chart, not only does the TD sequential give us some hope, but we also have the Bollinger Bands that we've been overextended now for, let's see here, ever since back in the early May, we've been overextended on Bollinger Bands, which doesn't mean we have to go, but at some point when you're this overextended and the Bollinger Bands are opening up, this is really important. We're going to talk about this on some of the smaller charts as well. the volatility is opening up for a relief rally to come back up. So this is something on the weekly chart definitely to keep an eye on. And then the third one, again, like I'm looking on this weekly chart, is look at where we are with this RSI. We've mentioned this before, but we're currently sitting at 25.55. Now, if you're looking at daily charts, if you're looking at 4-hourly charts, hourly charts, it's not abnormal to see 25 on RSI from time to time. It's on the weekly chart that this is really, really peculiar. And let me go ahead and switch to a different chart. This is called the BLX chart, and this shows us everything, the history of Bitcoin. And if I scroll this way, let me go out to the monthly chart. Well, now I have to start on the weekly charts to show you guys. My bad. If I were to, just make this nice and skinny and go all the way back to the beginning of when this started back in 2010, when they started recording all this information, look at my RSI right here. We have never in the history of Bitcoin gotten this low on the weekly RSI. Does that mean automatically we have to reverse? Absolutely not. That doesn't mean we have to, but it is something to look at and say we are sitting in way overextended territory on the weekly RSI. That is something to be positive about. Before I move on with technical analysis, just even look right here. Can they see this part of my screen, Smay?
Yeah.
19,900. We are pushing back up to 20,000. If you guys weren't aware, earlier this morning, even as we were playing the show, so if you were watching the charts, we were down to 19,000. We even saw some prices that hit 18.9 and some lower numbers. Bitcoin, as we speak at the moment, seems to be doing some sort of a rally. But let's jump back over to Bitcoin's chart and let's go on some smaller time frames. I told you guys we were going to look at the Bollinger Bands, and sure enough, that's exactly what we're going to do. Starting here on the daily chart, go ahead and take my RSI down. Now, you're going to notice I talked about volatility of Bollinger Bands back on the weekly chart. So back over here, we're looking at, we have a lot of volatility. It's time to start maybe potentially having a reverse back to the upside. But on the daily chart, that's exactly what we had. We had the Bollinger Bands kind of constrict and then open up. We got overextended on the daily chart. Let's see, I'm going to make it bigger for you guys. We got overextended on the daily chart, and then we began to rally back towards the 20 SMA. Now you're starting to see the Bollinger Bands constrict again, and what the constriction is, go back any time frame you want. I'm just looking at the daily chart. Look at when Bollinger Bands constrict, especially when they get nice and tight. That is anticipation that a breakout is coming either to the upside or the downside. Now, positivity, could this go to the downside? It absolutely could, but it also could go to the upside. As you're talking about on the weekly chart is showing multiple signs that a reversal, a relief rally could be coming. And that doesn't cancel out new lows. That doesn't cancel out 14,000, 15,000, 12,000. So for anyone who's saying, wait, Tim, you're talking about a relief rally. I thought you were saying here the other day that we might go down lower. Rallies come and go. Rallies can be fake outs that take us to the upside to then get people to kind of get confused and buy in at high levels and then get back into a lost position because the market crashes again. I'm not necessarily talking right now about long term. I'm saying there are market signs right now that we could see a relief rally back up to the mid-20s before another dip happens, sending us back down around maybe 17,000, maybe even lower. But there is still a chance that potentially 17,000 is the bottom. That's not really what I believe. I don't think that's what multiple people believe. I think many people who analyze the markets still believe that the bottom has not officially come in either in price or in timing. But either way, there is such a thing as saying like there's nobody actually knows the bottom. Anyone who claims that they perfectly understand where the bottom is, it's a positive Friday. I don't want to call anyone bad names, but they're mistaken. They're mistaken. There's no such thing as somebody who knows exactly when and where the bottom will be. And the signs at the moment definitely show us hope that we could be moving to the upside. Even as we go lower to the 4-hourly and the hourly chart, I talked to you guys about that kind of constricting of Bollinger Bands. Look on the 4-hourly chart how long we've been constricted on the 4-hourly chart. It is, again, time for a breakout. Now, what I find interesting is, of course, this volume here kind of gave us a stopping point. You guys see all this high volume. Yes, we went a little bit lower after this first peak, but this is where we had a lot of trades coming into the space, a lot more buyers willing to come into the space. And, of course, we were able to kind of reverse and bump off of that. We are seeing more volume coming into the space on these lower charts, signifying that, again, just like what Gareth Soloway was pointing out, there are market players there's market players that do not want the price to drop below certain levels. Potentially, are we going to see even that bring a relief rally? As volume comes in, this volume coming in was reversing this downward trend we've had over the last day or the couple days. Potentially, is this another argument to say, hey, a short-term relief rally is coming very soon? I'm really interested here, guys. Just, in about 10 minutes, we're going to have Crypto Birb on the show. If you guys don't know who he is, we're going to talk more about him. You'll meet him. I believe that he's going to help us a lot to know, hey, what are the next signs over the next couple of months to watch for, both short-term and long-term. But I do believe that there's still a whole lot of positivity, a whole lot of hope here on the charts to show you that Bitcoin could be seeing a relief rally very soon. And then when we talk with Crypto Birb, you're going to see long-term, not just next couple of weeks, not just next couple of months, but long-term, there is a whole lot of hope on the horizon for Bitcoin. So with that being said, let's go ahead and transition here a little bit early. We're going to do some super chats, but I wanted to bring Crypto Birb in earlier than 10:30 because I really want to hear what he has to say. T-Shroom, do we have any chat? I think I saw some when I was scrolling through YouTube a second ago.
Yes, we do.
Let's go through those really quick, and then at 10:25, we're going to bring Crypto Birb on the show.
Awesome. Yeah, very cool. There's some good TA there, Tim. I want to start off the super chats with Jeremy Shorter donating $20. He said, I thank God I'm able to help. My wife works in the field helping women who've been abused/raped. God bless all of you. And then we've got, thank you so much for that donation, Jeremy. And that's going to go to a great cause. Then we've got Elliot Locke, who donated $5. Tim, at CryptoSec Guy was right. Your beard is delicious looking. LOL. Also, prayers for Jebb.
Thank you for that, Jeffrey.
Wife. Yes, definitely. Yep. She's got a lot on her plate right now, that's for sure. Thank you so much, Elliot. All right, moving on to Taco Knight, donating $5. Would you guys trust the Yori wallet to stake ADA safely? Also, is a 0.43 Cardano likely in your opinion? So the Yori wallet is legit. It's not a scam. Make sure you're finding the right one, because I'm sure there's wallets that have tried to market themselves as Yuri but aren't actually Yuri. So, but yeah, I've heard of that one. I don't personally use it, but it seems legit.
The second half of that was about an ADA to 0.43?
0.43 Cardano, yep.
So just asking, can we get down to 43 cents? What is the question there?
Yeah. Also, is a 0.43 Cardano likely, in your opinion?
Well, we were just there here a little bit ago. If you go to my screen here, Smay, we were just there here last night. Down to 43. We've kind of, on Cardano, we've kind of been in a little range here ever since early in May, kind of bouncing back and forth with, wicks touching a little bit below, but no confidence below or above 43 cents, and then going all the way up to about 66 cents. That's where we've been bouncing ever since this little hesitation before that hard crash. And then unlike the rest of the crypto space, that this whole section is actually kind of moving down, Cardano decided to kind of move sideways, and we are hovering at the bottom side. So this is something I definitely, as a Cardano trader and investor, and I love what they're doing, I want to see how this plays out. Of course, we had that delay come to the Vasil hard fork. So is that the reason why all of a sudden Cardano's not stretching back up to the top side of this price range? Potentially, but that is coming here now. So now it's July 1st. The end of this month is the official launch on that. And historically, hard forks on Cardano bring not just a rally beforehand, but they bring rallies continued after, before there's eventually, some letdown and the price drops a little bit more. So let's keep an eye on Cardano here over the next couple weeks. But as it stands right now, is 43 possible? It's not only possible, it's probably likely. I mean, that's what it's been playing with now multiple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 could happen against 6, probably. That's what you have when you're in a sideways trading zone, kind of.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. That's the long and short of Cardano. We've going to bring us to Kelly of Kellums. He is the Kelliest of them all, and he donated $10, and he said, we've never faced economic pressures on Bitcoin as we have now. So metrics showing overextended is relative to times without those bearish pressures. Now is time for caution and wait for confirmations. Couldn't agree more with the Kelliest of Kellums there.
Yeah, no, I think we've talked about that a little of the show yesterday, how this is just not the time to be entering longs and shorts just yet. And that's not just us that's saying that. It's not just Jebb, it's not just me. Many technical analysts, many traders have said, hey, this is definitely a wait and see zone. We need to see something break on technicals in or out of formations. I didn't even get to talk about it. We went a little shorter on technical analysis today. On the linear chart, there is a formation of a falling wedge, or depending on where you want to draw your support line, a descending trading channel. Either way, both of those have us at the moment kind of moving sideways and up. And then potentially, could we break those positively before we recoil and come back down? Absolutely. But this is a zone right now it's very much, if anyone says that they're confident about a short or confident about a long, they're kind of kidding themselves. This is no man's land on the trading zone. So,
yep, absolutely. And we've got one more, but I would just like to give my 2 cents on that last one. Just make sure that you know the difference between a long and a DCA contribution. So DCAing is something you do constantly, and sometimes it's even at like a set schedule and you never change the quantity or the time that you're DCAing, that you're dollar cost averaging. Whereas a long is when you put in a significant significant portion of your portfolio, or whatever. It's much more money than a DCA. So just making that distinction there. The last one, $10 from Elliot Locke. Tim, you said you dabble with trading. That when you look for levels to put in your buy orders, you hope to hit. What metrics or indicators do you look at outside of LuxAlgo, and do you look at the order books?
Well, just so you know, I love LuxAlgo, and I definitely use it when I'm trading. But LuxAlgo isn't even my originating. That's not the indicator I use to trigger those things. You'll see people say
RSI divergence. Is that what it is?
RSI divergence will be one of the signs that, hey, it's time to start looking for a position. Sometimes there's a good position even without bullish RSI divergence. But that is definitely one of the signs. I use just basic technical analysis to understand what's happening. I'm paying attention to the news. I'm paying attention to fundamentals. I listen to advice from other people. I don't make trades because I heard a different analyst say I'm entering a trade. I listen to them say I'm about to enter a trade. I listen to why. I'll go cross-examine that with my own knowledge, and I'll listen to other people. And then using all that information, I make my own decision. And then LuxAlgo, I then bring in as a confirmation that helps me understand great places to take profit. But just so you guys know, I never think I'm going to buy the exact bottom, and I never think I'm going to try to take the profit at the exact top. I have my plan beforehand. I wait for confirmation. I wait for everything to align for me to say I'm comfortable entering into this trade. And then I get to my level I pre-decided based off of where I think the market's going, and I say that is good enough. If the market continues to go up another 3, 4, 5, I've had times before where I took profit and the market went up another 10%. And there's a temptation to say, oh, I should have just stayed in and taken more. It's like, no, if you keep that thinking, you're going to eventually get to a place where you keep pushing, and then you never take profit, and the price drops below your stop loss, and then you actually are in loss. Instead of taking the profit, you should have just taken the beginning. I never try to pinpoint the top. I strategize beforehand, and LuxAlgo helps me do that. Technical analysis helps me do that. Fundamental news helps me do that. And then listening to other analysts and compiling their reasoning, that helps me do it as well.
Awesome. Very cool.
We're going to go ahead and transition. I told you guys we're going to be talking today about, hey, what are the signs for the bottom? Because is the bottom in? No, the bottom's probably not in. It's not in on the price nor in the timing. But you do want to know what are the signs we are looking for the bottom. And, I thought I had a pretty good beard. I would like to think I do have a good beard. But I'm looking, even right now, as he's about to come in, Crypto Birb, he's got me beat. That beard is not only longer than mine, that is a clean-looking beard that I am very jealous of. And it's red as well, is it not? So let's bring in Crypto Birb on the show. Welcome. First of all, Crypto Birb, what is your name? I don't want to just call you Birb the whole time. What can I call you as your first name?
My name is Adrian.
Adrian.
That's my real name. My beard, I think, is just the light. I'm right now in the Dubai kind of like station of mine. So it's not my office. However, I think there's good resemblance for the background. For what I have in my office, so that might be this reddish kind of like vibes. Some people say I'm similar to Vikings, kind of like roots to some extent. So that might be it. But I love your beard too as well.
Yeah. Well, again, my compliments. That is a beautiful, beautiful beard. Whatever color it is amazing. First of all, before we get going here, let me hear a little bit about you, because I know that you are really successful. We're connected with you through Kelly Kellum, who just cannot say enough good things about your analysis, your technical analysis, your fundamental analysis, your short-term, your long-term perspectives. Who are you, and how did you get involved into crypto in the first place to become the expert that you are?
Well, sounds good. There's a lot of compliments again, so sorry. So I'm very, very thankful for that. And sorry, because I'll do my best to brief in everybody. However, the story is usually longer than the one being told. Yes. So, first of all, like I said, my name is Adrian. I'm 28. I'm from Poland. However, right now, actually, in Dubai at this very second. My main background is chemical technology engineering, which I got the master's with. Then the second master's I got with the top school of economics in my country in Poland, within the management and the finance department. So there is a lot of, I should say, build-arounds towards what I'm doing right now. However, the main thread of my crypto activity kicked off, I think, with 2017. Early 2017, this started being kind of like an active, job to me. Beforehand, I had heard of crypto 2014. And because of my engineering degree, I've had lots of those, programmers, ID coders, geeks, nerds, friends. And I remember in 2014, when I was in the middle of my exam session, on the studies, I remember them basically talking, about this February crash that happened, right, with the anti-Gox collapse in 2014 and all this madness. So this was definitely a hot topic back then. But I was in a position in my life where I could not allow myself to kind of like spend so much time on other stuff outside studies. So I wouldn't get active in the crypto space until 2017. And luckily for me, I actually got right in time for the largest alt season when the market actually started picking up for real. This entire positive feedback loop, if you will, started accelerating to the upside, and that this is exactly where I bought my first tops a couple of times. This is where I sold my first bottoms, also not knowing cryptocurrency from the active side. But then I continued to develop, with the proxy of technical analysis. And right now I'm actually, hopefully finalizing on my own path within the CMT charter holding certification process. CMT stands for Charter Market Technician, and this is a US-based organization which focuses on standardizing technical analysis, because the major problem that technical analysis has, for which it's not considered serious quite often, is because it tends to be subjective. However, if you apply that properly, the subjectivity kind of like disappears, right? And when you, I think I heard a little bit of the story that you were mentioning. If you stick to the algo strategy, if you stick to the strategy that you have, to the system that you build, then this is where the true technical analysis starts coming up, right? This quantitative manner, statistical manners, like logical manners, philosophical manners, that's all coming together, and that's what I try to incorporate on a daily basis.
Well, let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to ask you some questions here about the market. I want to start off with this whole crash that we've had. Before we move on to the next couple of months and what we can expect in the future, in this crash, when you're looking back on this, was this exactly what you expected? Were there any parts that took you by surprise? And did you think we would get down below 18,000, below the previous all-time high of 2017? Was that a surprise to you, or did you see that coming?
This was in the major part surprise. However, I was not completely surprised, right? I was definitely aiming higher. Perhaps it is, because of my, individual biases at that time. However, I was, call it luck. I was lucky enough to get basically properly diversified ahead of the crash. So the, Q3 and Q4, I was busy basically distributing the crypto profits while the market was doing pretty well, when it was accelerating to the upside. And I was busy, moving the capital out of crypto, right, to other asset classes, for living for cash, for real estate, for gold, for silver, for, even luxury watches, and which, by the way, funnily enough, are the main outperformer that drags my portfolio upwards, which is interesting. So I was happily kind of like prepared for it, right? However, I was not necessarily timed well. I was still aiming, expecting for some 100,000, regions and so on, which I do think we still will see. However, it's definitely kicked off, I think, at the time, at the perfect reversal date. I think it was November the 7th or some around. The perfect, the same day, minute, hour, that the news came out about Evergrande insolvency. It was the very peak, that marked the start of a sell-off for Bitcoin, for crypto, for stocks, which eventually had all led to what we call, since yesterday, the worst half a year opening, basically in the very big chunk of history, right?
Yep.
So lots of those once in generation kind of like situations. Market, for April, earlier this year for April, I think this was the worst 4-month opening into any year in any kind of like part of history for the S&P 500, right? The seasonality was out of tune, was out of phase. Rate hikes, double-digit inflation, which is not really coming off. So Russia-Ukraine war as well, right? Unpolished. So this was happening basically right around the border. So lots of those different kinds of risks, the market risks that are, you cannot really eliminate them out of the markets, right? Through diversification. This is something that you have to bear with, basically sustain and survive, right? So that's what I'm doing. Trying to chill, trying to focus on building the firm, the business, and preparing for the big escalation of the market next year.
Well, yeah, let's go ahead and transition now and start talking about the future. So, looking at the past, what are you looking for personally? First, I want to hear, before you answer why, what do you think the bottom will be? out of curiosity? When do you think it will hit? And then what are the signs that you're now looking for any investor that you would recommend, hey, these are what you need to see happen before we can confidently say the bottom is in? And then when we see these signs, this is how we should act on them.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think this is a perfect question. And in all honesty, nobody probably knows the answer to it unless they're in control of the market, right? In order to pinpoint the bottom, just exactly what you said, it's basically like a lottery. If it happens to you that you pinpoint the bottom once, then you are damn lucky, right? Mm-hmm. And you just won the lottery. But how many times in a row in your life will you win this lottery again and again, right? The chances are like 1 to million or 1 to billion or 1 to whatever. So it's almost infinitely impossible to keep winning on this guessing game for the, pinpointing the tops and bottoms. So I try to personally kind of like stay away from this strategy. I used to do that. However, as I, hopefully mature and learn and then spend a lot of time improving my knowledge within technical analysis side, I really appreciate more and more this mechanical approach, this non-discretionary approach, when I don't leave the market to my own discretion, to my own subjectivity, to my own opinions, but rather focus on opinion-less approach and try to basically put the law of large numbers, to work for me, right? So if I were to give, an estimation, a guess, then I would argue, it's somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000, right? I remember having this discussion in 2019 and in September, when the Bitcoin was basically down from 12,000 down to 9,500s, and there was the CME gap left, right? And this is the gaps, for those who actually are not aware, are full of chart patterns as well, and there are certain like windows, right? This empty spaces in the charts not filled with the price action because of the market closing or something, and there was a gap, I think, from 92 to 93. Hundreds, something like that, right? Some low to mid $9,000. And I was having this discussion when somebody was trying to convince me that, hey, this gap was not filled because the Bitcoin only did manage to get down to like 9,600s or 9,700s, right? And the gap was 93 to 96, imagine. And we were having this discussion where people tend to anchor towards specific numbers, and they anchor to it so much that they leave everything else, aside, and they forget about this, right? So they were so busy trying to convince me, that the gap was not filled, while I was like, probably it's filled, right? There is no perfection. And right after, Bitcoin basically rallied, from 12,000, from 9,000, 10,000, to 65. So this is the lesson, I think, that many, the expensive lesson that many would get for trying to anchor too much to very specific numbers, which includes guessing the bottom and the top, right? For my assumptions, it's going to be somewhere between 10 and 20, perhaps 10 and 15, right? Yeah. Perhaps we even seen the bottom, God knows, if there is some fundamental trigger, and imagine, some bigger countries start adopting Bitcoin on a daily basis all of a sudden overnight. And I see a lot of fundamental demand into it rapidly, within constantly and fundamentally shrinking supply on digital holding basis. So it's a guessing game. My bet is 10, 15. If I get this, I'm super happy. Typically, you get 80, 90% drawdown of the peaks. Right now, we're 75 to peak to bottom. So perhaps there is still more downside left on this empirical probability basis. However, I'm not too much anchored to it. I've already made my first purchases, but I'm yet to deploy some more capital.
I got you. Yeah, and the truth is I know people are probably wanting everyone to give that pinpoint answer. Everyone is wanting. It is going to be at 15,000 on November 21st at 3 p.m. That is the official bottom, but that is an impossible answer to give. So let's kind of transition there. I very, very much respect your answer there. What are the signs? So what are we looking for? I know you mentioned a little bit of the CME gap, but not that that's a nail in the coffin. In your opinion, what are the things that you need to see play out both on the charts, in the news? Of course, we're seeing here watching the Fed go back and forth between what they're going to be doing with interest rates. You got the regulational clarity coming out. What's that going to look like? When's it going to look like? What do we need to see? Like, how much clarity do we need to go forward? And is there anything else that maybe people haven't even heard of that it's like, hey, we need to see that happen before a bottom officially comes in?
Got you. Another perfect one in the series. So there is quite a few, right? And I do think that, again, while making those guesstimations, right? Those mathematized guesses, you can try to increase a little bit your chances for guessing and being right when you take into consideration many different fields and factors, also outside technical analysis, right?
Mhm.
So for instance, my personal kind of like long-term purchases that I've recently done that I hopefully continue to do within the next weeks if it doesn't launch off immediately. Then I do it on the contrarian basis, as in when the sentiment is extremely poor and it's extremely bad, right? And I play this mean reversion where I expect, because of extreme panic mode and extreme panic selling climaxing, right? This irrational selling off to the downside, takes the lead, and I see people, react extremely in a pessimistic mode and that it's never going to recover. Then you have all those 3AC basically funds, getting liquidated, insolvent, exchanges going broke, and so on and so forth. So this tells me that the market is going like broke big time, right? And when the market goes broke big time, it kind of like clears this space. And this is like a rise and repeat process. Each and every single cycle, there is this maximum euphoria peak when everybody just, it's actually called irrational exuberance, I think, by Fisher, if I'm not mistaken. Where you would spend, you're such a good trader, you feel so much in control that you can spend so much money. Like you give money there, you put money there, you put money this way, this asset, that asset.
Yeah.
And it just continues this way until you overspend and until you overinvest, which also happens to many businesses and firms. And they are going broke later on, right? When the market deteriorates. And it does happen that it deteriorates because usually, again, on the contrarian basis, when the market is extremely optimistic, then there are going to be lots of big players, so-called smart money, who are going to play counter the trend and exit while having the largest liquidity pool to take it. So, this is like same way that you usually have the IPOs in the stock market, right? The IPOs are usually timed to be the perfect, euphoric moments in the market, because then, there's biggest amount of money, basically. There's biggest liquidity, there is like biggest euphoria, optimism, and you sell off your IPO stocks basically as a company so easily, just a snap of a finger, right?
Yeah.
And then of course IPO start like measures the very peak and the market starts declining after the insiders sell out, right? So this is the typical kind of like a cycle to it. And I take the cyclicality into consideration. I take the seasonality into consideration when usually risk on assets tend to perform better in the later quarter of the year. Usually they say that, the way that the year starts, so goes the entire year for the rest, right? There is like the sell in May sell in May and go away, right? So many different sayings that are not as dumb if you think about it, because the market has some sort of like an order. Right, there is inherent chaos to it. Of course, there is an entropy to it, but the market has certain patterns, right? And people who question patterns are usually how to call that? I don't want to say uneducated, but they refuse confirming something that they see in front of their eyes, right?
Yes,
so the patterns exist. We see patterns exist. Perhaps it's not clear why the patterns exist. Most likely it's because we make them work, right? We make them exist. Our subconscious mind so much tries to, see certain patterns even when they don't exist, so that we can take it and extrapolate our known actions into the future, right? So at times we want to see patterns so much that they actually form, right? And you have a form of a symmetrical triangle, if you were on a coil, and that people would buy on the breakout because they would believe it's a bullish sign, for instance, right?
Yeah.
And the price actually goes higher and the breakout follows through, right? And the price pumps, which actually adds confidence to those people. So it's funny how it observes. Fun fact for many people, I think, this is actually justified also by our physiology and biology, because whenever our brains recognize patterns, and I think it comes from the ancient times when we were, being chased by tigers and then some other creatures, those carnivores. Then you had to know certain patterns. As in, you see a tiger, you get the hell out of this field, right?
Yes.
This is a form of a pattern. So I think that evolution-based, or somehow anthropology-based, we've managed to learn that our brains feed our body with dopamine, with this hormone of happiness, whenever we recognize the pattern properly, right? So we have this biological theme behind pattern recognition. So I like seeing patterns as well, right? Patterns are very apparent in the markets. They are not the guarantee of future performance. However, they may tell you a bit of a story from what may happen. So you get this combination of seasonality, of cyclicality, of chart patterns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the trend recognition. This is more of the technical analysis side. You know, you always have this contrary sentiment side, like I said. You also have the fundamentals. Well, for Bitcoin, the fundamentals are relatively simple because there is digital scarcity kind of like protocol, right?
Yeah.
Which each and every single halving moment period, every 4 years approximately, you get the Bitcoin block rewards halved, right? They go half, and this is what builds, you know, this difficulty to mine, and at the same time, this digital scarcity, same way that you would have with commodity gold, basically. So this drives the long-term fundamental value, right? We never know when it's going to kind of like, you know, I should say, stand out a lot of from this trend. You have this fundamental trend which keeps going up, and there are some price fluctuations around this trend, right? Which are mainly caused by these technical traders. And at the same time, you would have the intermarket analysis side, right? You always have to consider Bitcoin. That's what I believe, as one of the asset classes, as one of the financial markets, right? Yeah. So I always like Bitcoin, watching Bitcoin next to yields, you know, what's happening with the interest rate hikes, next to stocks, which are the proxy to how well the economy performs. And it's a very strong correlation of Bitcoin with stocks as well right now. So it's all kind of like coming together and acting like a beautiful full sheet of music.
Yeah, man, that's really good. We have a couple minutes left here, and I want to kind of even continuing that thought, but also transitioning here just a little bit. I know, so you're constantly, one of the reasons we found you was because you talk a lot with Kelly Kellum over on his Twitter page, but, you know, you've talked a lot about on his, that's called Twitter Spaces. You talk about the Luna collapse and how that impacts, that has impacted this market a whole heck of a lot. I have two questions kind of here when we talk about this and how this is going to affect the rest of the crypto market. Question one, do you think anything's about to follow it? And do you have any speculation as to which specific projects those would be? And second of all, is that a bad thing for the market, or potentially in hindsight, are we going to look back at some of these collapses of these altcoins as a positive thing for the crypto market, even though it wasn't good for this specific project?
Yeah, I mean, they say everything is obvious in the hindsight, right?
Yeah.
So this is actually, you know, well explained by the behavioral finance theorems that, you know, hindsight bias basically is very dangerous to us because we believe in our unmistakenness, basically, that we believe we are unmistaken, right? That we tend to memorize the past better than it actually was, right? So we tend to believe that, oh yeah, I spotted this pattern, it was so obvious, right? I spotted this pattern 5 years ago, I knew pandemic was coming, right? So, and this is fooling oneself. No chart on the planet is going to tell you when the next pandemic is coming, when the asteroid is going to crash into Earth, or when there is a fucking Martian attack on Earth, right? No Bitcoin chart is going to tell you the story. So we tend to undergo this hindsight bias next to other emotional and cognitive biases altogether. So, you know, it's not obvious at all. Like I said, nothing that is happening in the market is obvious, is certain. You have so many variables flowing in a real-time basis that it's almost infinitely hard, you know, to be right on the very good side of the trend for more often than not, basically.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, things like that happen. As in Luna crashed, it's the Stata collapse. I definitely had not been expecting that to come, right?
Yeah.
Mainly because I don't track fundamentals so much, right? I'm more of a technical trader. You always have to pick your side somehow in the game. And well, perhaps if I had been more, you know, sinking in the fundamentals of it, perhaps I would have seen that coming. However, again, luckily for me, I had virtually no money in any Luna related project at that time already, right? So I had managed to cash out and distribute the profits before it happened. So it's, again, call it like whatever.
Yeah.
But things like that happen. Like I said, you know, you always have some how you call it, like a black sheep in the market, or this black swan, right? Something that you cannot expect ever to happen, but it happens. And this is where this Murphy law starts, comes to act, basically, when there is this tiny, tiny, tiny limited percentage of chances that each and every single thing that can go wrong will go wrong, right? This is this 1 in a million situation. And eventually it will happen, right? Such a price shock, despite it's extremely improbable, it will happen. We don't know when it happens, but we know it will happen. And the only way you can protect yourself against that is basically to be out of the market, right? But then if you are out of the market, then you pay opportunity cost for missing out certain rallies. So there's always some imbalance to it.
Yeah.
So I do believe personally, again, it happens. So we cannot rewind the past. We have to adjust to it. I'm super sorry, to see so many people actually got their life savings wiped out. At the same time, I think that from the investment point of view, everybody is due in charge of their own money and their own responsibility. This is their own responsibility to manage the risk. If they don't manage the risk properly, the market will humble them sooner or later. So you're seeing that with, Three Arrows Capital. There's some probably more exchanges going broke. I wouldn't be surprised if there is one more project basically, disappearing out of the market, one of the very large ones that we know. Not even mentioning like the smaller ones, which just stop existing on a daily basis. So,
yeah, when I talked about that, I was talking with one of our office hour groups, and that number, when people hear 90% of altcoins are probably going to die during this bear market, that's really scary, and it makes people think, oh no, is that going to be my altcoin? Well, I think there's more, but I know the last one time I was looking, it was like 16,000 altcoins at the moment. So that means if 90% of them die, we're still going to have 1,600 altcoins still in existence, and the majority of the ones that dies are ones that people watching this have probably never heard of before. There's going to be a couple big name ones. And again, I think Luna was the number one. And I think I'm in agreement with you. I think there's another big one to fall. I think the question is which one, and we'll have to play that out. But I want to go ahead. We're going to transition here. But Crypto Birb, first of all, thank you so much for coming on this channel. Thank you for bringing your expertise and kind to help people. I know you're a big presence on Twitter, and your YouTube is growing as well. We have a link in the description down below that you guys can go follow him. He's a wealth of knowledge. Make sure you go check him out. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Follow him on Twitter. Anything you want to say in a closing statement before we let you go here today?
Yeah, thank you so much for very kind intro and outro. Actually, I love the community who are building and actually keep thriving despite the difficulties of the market. So much love to each and every single of your viewer and listener, and I hope to see you guys anytime soon. Find me on Twitter. Find me anywhere else you want to talk. I'll do my best to reply back. Awesome.
Well, thank you for being on the show, and we'll see you next time you're on. So. That was really good stuff. T-shirt, before we transition here, because we do have to give our HODL Trophy winner. We'll announce who it was in a second. If those of you who watched Tuesday know what our predictions were, you know who the winner is. It's pretty obvious. T-shirt, what were your thoughts? What was your big takeaways from stuff that he was talking about there?
I really, really like the Birb. I think that he's got a ton to offer. I think he's like a very comprehensive thinker, kind of like myself, where it's like, you ask a question and he has so many thoughts on it, which is really, really great. But yeah, I was really surprised slash kind of confirm my own thoughts on. He thinks that there's still one more project to drop, major project. I wish I could have asked, what is the higher end of that range? Do you think that we could see 3 or maybe even 4 more projects drop? Because if this crypto winter is going to last, potentially through the fall, then we could, that's enough time for a couple other, what did he call them? Greedy or over, essentially what they are is over leveraged organizations to mismanaged funds to go ahead and go broke, as he said. But yeah, so I think one more is probably conservative. I think there's probably a little bit more there, but so far the major ones that have actually fallen are Luna and now 3 Arrows Capital. We're still waiting on Celsius to confirm, but it's probably more than likely, in my opinion, based on what I've seen in the studying I've done. Yeah, it's probably looking like they are going to be insolvent, but hopefully they're just illiquid.
Yeah, and I know his audio was a little bit faint there, and I think someone's commented, this guy a robot. I don't know what's happening, but if you guys were able to listen, Positive Friday, guys, by the way, keep positive. I know the audio was a little hard there, but if you paid attention to listen, there was so much good information there. And he's right. I was trying to get some answers out of him. I was trying to get some specifics. He's not going to give those. Why? Because he knows what he's talking about. You cannot pinpoint things, but you got to have those things to look for. And I think that's a great sign right there. You're looking for potentially another coin to go down. And I'm not talking about a small coin. I'm talking about another large coin. And large doesn't mean top 20. Large could be top 100 or so. But a coin that people know of and that thought we're going to make it, I think we are waiting for another one of those to go back down. I think the thing that I took away, and we're going to transition here in just a second, I really liked when he talked about formations. And this is something I'd noticed for the longest time, and you guys will see me do it. I'm a technical analyst. My name is T.A. Tim. But you'd see me sometimes talk about a formation and then say, but I don't think that that's going to play out that way. And it's exactly kind of what he was talking about, that concept of sometimes we as humans, we have learned from formations. We see formations happen and we've responded to them. And sometimes it's almost like we're trying to force formations to come and then act on them. And in this space, we talked about this a little bit yesterday on the show with Jebb. This is a season of manipulation. This is a project that's manipulated. We can sit there and whine about it, or we can understand, hey, this is being manipulated. How would a manipulator think? Let's continue to go with the whales, go with the institutions, go with those people that are kind of trying to shake the market out, and don't try to force things. Just last week, here's a good example for all of our people in Club DeFi who are learning this. What did we see happen last week? We saw a inverse head and shoulders play out that would have sent us all the way up to $27,000. We analyzed that and kind of said, I don't think that's going to happen. There's a lot of different metrics and things happening, but technically that formation formed. Then we had a head and shoulders pattern that would have sent us down to $18,000. And while we did go down below 19, we did a couple other things first that I remember looking at that one and saying, I don't know if that one's going to play out. It's probably more likely than the inverse head and shoulders pattern, but this looks like a season we're going to continue to move sideways, and sure enough, that is correct. And if we go down to 18,000 here in the next couple of days, which absolutely is possible, I don't think it's going to be because of that formation. It's going to be because of other things as well. With that being said, you don't want to throw out formations. You want to make sure when you're doing your technical analysis, you're keeping in mind these formations that are forming, triangles, head and shoulders patterns. People use the Bart Simpson patterns, but do not just lock yourselves in and say, well, the pattern just formed, so automatically it has to happen. You need to continue to take so much information into account when you're making your decisions. And that was one of the things I heard him. I was like, thank you so much for saying that, because, yeah, too many people just want to rely on formations. They want to rely on bear flags. They want to rely on triangles. They want to rely on head and shoulders patterns, and then turn their eyes off to the news, turn their eyes off to the other things showing in the charts, turn their eyes off to other indicators, and that's a big mistake to do. So with that being said, though, it is 10:56 on Tuesday. So what?
We got some super chats.
We're going to read those in just a second. I'm going to award the winner here. Do I have it over here by my desk? Where is the HODL trophy?
Yeah, I see it.
You see it? We had our predictions. I said 21,005, which for a second there last night, we were heading close. We got up almost to 21,000. Jebb said 21,000 even, and Smay's 18,000 is the closest one. Right now, we're currently sitting around 19,400, which does put him, it's actually really close though. You were about $100 away from a Jebb win. But Smay, what is your thoughts? What is your victory speech here on Positive Friday, winning when was the last time you won a HODL trophy? 3-4 weeks ago?
No, like the week before last.
I won the last 2 weeks.
Then 2.
So 2 weeks ago.
3
weeks ago.
Before you did.
Something like that. Yeah, what do you have to say to the people?
I just want to say thank you guys for supporting and believing in me. And I need to put ice on my elbows. I am sore. But I'm positively sore.
We did a workout the other day with some pulling motions. Got his tendons nice and toasty.
Yeah, so I'm going to get some ice after this. But, yeah, this was a fun show. This is a good show. So I'm very pleased. Thank you, guys.
Well,
wait, I have an announcement. I think I'm doing the video for Monday.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're going to have a 4-3 live because we're not going to be here, but we are going to be recording a video, and I think we decided this morning
this is going to be Smay's first ever afternoon video. So, guys, look forward for that. I am so excited to do it. Yeah. I'm very excited. And it's not going to be silly. It's actually going to be serious. So, just in case you were worried about that, I'm making a serious
inspiring.
video.
Sworried.
It's inspiring.
A little birdie told me it's inspiring.
Because Tishum wrote it.
Maybe. Maybe. You never know.
Anyways.
All right, ready for these super chats?
Yeah, let's read some super chats. By the way, if anyone joined late, just so you guys know, all super chats today are going to be going to Life for the Innocent, an organization, a ministry we're partnered with to help save children from sex trafficking. So if any of you want to last second give a super chat, just so you guys know, I know a lot of times people give that to support the channel, but today it's not about supporting the channel. It's about supporting that ministry. So I want to encourage any of you guys who have a heart to do any of that type of work. This is a great way to give back. But let's go ahead and read those super chats. I also saw a bunch of donated memberships.
Yep.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, so we're going to power through and cover these. Yeah, so Matt C., member for 11 months. Jebb Grandmaster, I wanted to wish everyone here in the U.S. a happy 4th of July holiday. Never take our freedom for granted. Love you all. Absolutely can't agree with that anymore.
Yeah.
There, Matt C. All right. Mike Markle gifted 5 Crypto Jebb memberships. Now, this is really cool because this was not the only one. Crypto Sec Guy also donated 5 crypto memberships. So
that's awesome.
So 10 memberships were given away today for free. And
those names are now green.
Yeah.
And they will be read in future shows.
We've got a fresh batch of green names ready for Monday to be read. Hope to see you then on Tuesday, not Monday, because we won't be here on Monday. All right. Tharan donated 200 units of a foreign currency, I don't know, and he said, I had invested 4,000 USD in crypto Bitcoins, Ether, ADA, Matic, Solana, AVAX, Aave, Uniswap, Binance, Sand, Chainlink, Mana, and I'm very hopeful, but hearing lots of negativity from around, hard to sustain. Yep.
You heard it here first. We got a portfolio breakdown from what's his name?
There we go.
Tharan.
Thorin gave us a portfolio breakdown.
I lost the beginning of the question was what he put how much in?
4,000 USD. So that's very, very diversified.
Hey, I'm hats off to him.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
It's positive
for
Friday.
Diversification. Positive Friday.
Tharan is popping off with diversification. All right.
And some of them might not make it, and some of them will make it, and that's why you diversify. So good for you.
All right. Nico Wild donated $2. Sorry, my Cash App is empty right now. Bought coin. Coin, of course, being Coinbase, which is a stock, not a coin. Ironically enough. Grand Roofing Incorporated donating $50.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, it is.
Zero in that decimal is
it is.
Big difference.
Happy 4th of July weekend, everyone. Take time from the charts and enjoy time with your family. Let's not forget those who served and gave their all for us to enjoy our freedom and this space. Prayers to Jebb and his family. Hashtag FinSolve. Hashtag Club DeFi. All right.
Come on.
All right. Well, that's all of them.
That's not all of them, I don't think.
Oh yeah, no. There's a bunch more that just came in.
Let's go. Yeah, what do you think?
Cash Cats. DCA is the way. Bitcoin is the answer. Happy 4th of July. Hashtag FinSolve. Hashtag Club DeFi.
Boom, then you catch your cats.
And then Callie Sequoia donated $2. Said, should we be hesitant? Binance.us offering 18% stake. First time hearing of that.
You should be hesitant until you understand the details. That is something I think you should be hesitant about until you understand the details of how that works, why they're doing it, what's the risk to reward.
18% stake on what? Bitcoin?
I don't know.
I doubt it's
you
Bitcoin.
Wouldn't stake Bitcoin, would you?
Nah, I mean, I
don't know. That's
know.
the thing. Until you know details, yes, I would be hesitant.
You wouldn't stake Bitcoin.
Yeah.
All right. Black Shogun, check out. Yeah, and he's just plugging some plugin. There's been a lot of that plugin on that.
Boom.
And we're going to skip right on past.
Yeah.
Nico Wild donating $5. Selling some Bitcoin to buy coin. Buying half now. I'm in case BTC goes up. So coin goes up harder and buying half later. Yeah, so, okay. Interesting.
All right, he wants to, yeah.
I don't know about
he's buying some coin.
It's interesting.
Thank you, Nico.
Matt C. donating $50 for the charity. Thank you for bringing this to the forefront. Awesome. Mike Markle donating $10, and we are getting a lot of super chats here.
Yes,
just a donation. Love you guys. Happy 4th. God bless America. By AK Crypto donating $10, and another plug. And that is all. We'll probably read today, but I did want to respond to Grand Roofing Incorporated. If you are sitting there, it just kind of made me laugh. If you're I just pictured myself sitting there reading the chats reading the charts and trading Bitcoin while my family's out celebrating the 4th with the fireworks and everything. Like, that would be so lame. Pretty funny stuff. Cool.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. We ran a little long today.
Where are my crickets?
But it's okay. We sometimes we like to stick to an hour show, but sometimes we go a little long. I just want to kind of wrap this up. Last Friday of this week. It's always last Friday of this week. Anyway, this is the last show of the week. We'll be back on Tuesday. But here's what I want to encourage you guys for. Even though we're going to have positive Fridays, and we're not going to call every single day of the week positive, let this be a time to continue to dig into your education and your encouragement to the rest of the community. Again, I said this at the beginning. If you didn't catch it, I'm going to say it again. There is so much negativity, not only in the world, but specifically in the cryptocurrency space, when in reality, we should be working together to encourage and uplift and work together to fight against the things in this world that are stopping people from accomplishing financial sovereignty. If that's something you can get behind, join us every single show, and let's continue to bring positive into the space. The other thing is you can like and subscribe every single video, help promote us, help get us out there in front of more people as we build a community of healthy, non-toxic, educating community that works together to accomplish everything that we were set out to do. We love you guys, and we will see you guys on Tuesday, July 5th. With that being said, though, we will see you in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.